All right, let's pray. Father, thank you so much for this morning, even though we are dealing with such a difficult subject this morning. Thank you that your word never returns to us today. Thank you that simply in predestination and election and 4 hours Lord and called and elect and leading us, that just solidifies that we are part of your life. Father, I thank you so much that you have a plan for each one of us, and I pray that you would just give us wisdom and knowledge and understanding of this morning so that we can apply this truth. Thank you for this.
Usually we have to a hard time if we didn't have any knowledge of what the words meant before we studied it.
Yeah, because we use them in language.
I'm sure we did it.
If we did it, if they weren't even a word.
If a foreigner came over and there was totally new words to them, they weren't even language.
Right.
The way that they're outlined in the Bible, that you study today, you think they would have that much confusion with them?
Maybe not. Maybe not, because even when I was reading in Jodiades, he said, in scriptural language, or in context of scripture, then we can define it. I think sometimes we try to define it as worldly, but it's not worldly, it's scriptural.
What have you always heard about people when they think you can go stand in the middle of the road and it's not your time, you're going to get you there. Oh, true.
Right, that's called stupidity. Yeah, woo! You know, how many of the moms, right, told you, look, everybody's got something, did you do it? Right, yeah, no.
Live but in a vegetated state.
Well, there you go. You live but in a vegetated state. Right.
Yeah, right.
God, you've been stupid. Okay, what I'm going to open with is what you did at, all right, ladies. We're going to get there. I promise. Boy, are we going to get there. On the very last page, it said, how does Romans open up and how does it close? Okay, tell me, how does it open up? There's no, therefore now, no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. Don't forget that, right? The world will tell you, God is a Father. Oh, Christians will tell you. Preachers will tell you, God is a Father. Jesus, everybody.
Yeah.
It is, but you know, that's it.
They all the same one. So his love demands. That's it. It demands obedience, and when we don't obey, it demands discipline, justice, and some wrath.
Isn't that as good as the physical in our children?
Yes, that's it. That's it. I tell my kids, I'm not your friend, I'm your parent. It's not my job to be your friend. It's my job to be your parent. Now, you know, when you reach past, well, Amy's 24, so past 26, I don't have to be very fucking 40. What's a parent always a parent? Is that what you tell me? Yeah. There you go.
That's like a 40-year-old. No.
She needs parenting still, then, doesn't she?
She does. I thought she had it together.
But truthfully, I still need my mom. Sorry, maybe not the parenting part, but the friendship advice part.
Yeah.
I still need that. I'm still called to honor. Yes. Oh, what an emptiness in your heart that would create. You know, when Chuck lost both his parents, I'm like, he was in store something for them. You always listen. It doesn't matter how old you are. Because there's that hole in your heart that only they can fill, and nobody else is going to fill that. And that's just the way it is. That is the way it's life. However, they put your mom, right? That's forever. I got to have them there and forever. They're with me in a blink. Okay? Okay. It ends with right. Nothing can separate us from us. The believers. Right. It's different. Okay? We have to specify it. So we can't, what can we not group the world or shall we say, unbelievers in with us. Then you want to go. Open and heart. The condemnation part, right?
One of the separation.
These churches are hard. Knows the mind of the Spirit between the Spirit and the We're not saying.
That's it.
In accordance with God's will. That's how I connected to all from the
In context is huge, right? We take it out of context. Others take it out of context so many times that it's not accurate. That's not true. So you have to be proved out and over with scripture, proven scripture. Major rule of thumb: never make the obscure implicit the obvious. Never. If it's obscure for your predestination, the call, the elect, foreknowledge. That is obscure. We don't make it interpret something else. Okay? All right, we'll go to Romans 8. We seem to have camped here for quite a while, and that's a good thing. You do get to go into chapter 9 next week. Start your observation worksheet on that next week. But not before you go into Romans 8 and read all the way through 11 again. You know, you've got to stay in context. That's the whole purpose. You've got to stay in context. All right, Romans 8, 28 to 34. It's just lovely, handy thing that I can just advance. I need this.
Aww. I know what
That's from Bach Tower, yeah.
Bach Tower.
It's a good plan. One more thing. Oh, yeah. We had an absolute gorgeous day. Was it this really fun? No, it's not. Come and sit here with this side for me. Oh, do you see it up there? Yeah. It's not working. Did I? Yep. I just wanted to to you. This is going to be a lovely video. Looking at me, figuring out my technology. Don't ask me. Now I'm hoping it's not. Maybe I check the camera or do I not? I don't want to mess up the work.
Review streaming now?
No.
Okay, because we have to upload it, right?
Okay, so it is. Okay, we are going to go to Romans 8:28. Okay. Everybody can say this by memory, right? So what does it say? We know that all things are called according to right. Now, what does 29 say? And what does she tell you about the firstborn among many brothers? What does that mean, firstborn? Yes, and there's a promise of more to come. Okay? So he was the firstborn from the dead with the promise of what? Okay? Alright, so what does God do? And who did he do it for? According to the history. Right? He predestined. He foreknew. What else did he do? Oh. No, he justified and he glorified, sanctified. We didn't really say that one. Okay. But that all pertains to the who? The Christian. Okay? Keep it in context. He causes all to work together for good. Alright? Verse 29 and 30, how those verses explain how he causes everything to work for good. It's all according to his purpose. It's all according to being conformed to what? The image of his son. So that's the whole purpose of the call, the predestining, the justifying, the glorifying, the sanctifying. What's the whole purpose? To make us like Jesus. Okay? You see how that would not pertain to the world? It's not their purpose. Alright? Let's go to verses 31 to 39. We return to those justified by God. Who were they? The elect. Okay, maybe also those who what the word. He's called, he's foreknew, he's predestined, right? Okay? Because the justified have to speak with God, correct? How can we possibly have peace with God? Only through Christ, right? That's why Paul can wish you peace through our Lord Jesus Christ. Otherwise, it's not possible to have peace because sin is there. Okay? Go back to Romans 5, 1 through 5. Let's read that. Because remember, we're in the context of the book of blessing. Somebody who has it, read Romans 5, 1 through 5.
Therefore, since we have been justified through faith, we have received the Son from our Lord Jesus Christ. Even we have gained access by faith into this grace in which we now stand, and we rejoice in the hope of the glory of God. Not only so, but we also rejoice in suffering, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. And hope does not disappoint us, because God has poured out His blood into our hearts, the Holy Spirit, who is in the faith.
How does that apply to Romans 8 and 8? I mean, this is awesome. Don't forget what you've already learned. Apply it to what you are learning. Okay? Okay? What can separate the saints from the other side? Nothing, but what are we going to go through? Trials. tribulations, what are they supposed to do? Grow us, build character, right? Okay? Give us hope that does not disappoint. I mean, keep that. Romans 5:5, Romans 5:5, Romans 5:5. Okay? Hope does not disappoint. We exult. Notice what we exult in. Okay? We exult in hope. But that hope is a hope that does not disappoint. That's not right. Not like that.
You can read that it's not in you. It's in shame.
So there's no shame. Read the whole verse.
And hope makes not shame.
Hope never ends. Not yet. That's a great translation. Right. So you can't be. Don't you ever think sometimes when you share, well, the Lord is telling me to do this, then it doesn't happen. Then you go on.
Sometimes you come to
And I myself in the moment. What if you know your profile and you said to do this and you do this and you said, it's not. You're waiting for this. Right. You need to be patient. Right. You think you give it a Lord told you to do. Okay? If you know his voice, it's pretty hard to mistake it. You're simply obedient to do the next time. Okay? And obedient to do the next time. What else is someone supposed to do next time? That's what I'm supposed to do, and I'm supposed to know what I'm supposed to do in 10 days? No. I'm supposed to know this is what I need to do in order to be obedient to God. One door at a time. Okay? Awesome. Visual. That's pretty much what life is, isn't it? Okay? But by the time you get to the end of the sentence, you start to have to do things like that. Okay? Welcome to the world. Right? Oh, that's so day. New day. The elect, right, the called, the chosen, us, we, okay, have his love and the Holy Spirit in our hearts. Why does that make a difference? Because I have somebody telling us what the next thing is, right? Okay? That's the Holy Spirit who is inside now. Okay? We are so blessed to live in this, as they call it, dispensation. Okay? We get now to go through these paths. Okay, good. What did you get for the definition of called? Here we go. Called for a specific purpose. What is that calling supposed to be about? Salvation, and then what?
To summon to action.
To summon to action. Okay, well, like what kind of action would we be talking about? Whatever you should be doing to glorify God, which would be His purposes. Which we're supposed to know, right? How are we supposed to know what we're supposed to do? The Holy Spirit inside of us. Okay, what else would you know, put into your homework, how would you know if you've been called? Know, have faith in His Son. Could you look back at your life and know, I have faith in His Son? Okay, you should know by your life. That's verse 1. You may know. These things are written that you may know that you have a life. Good. Definition of called, kaleo. Is that not what we got? Okay? And it just meant to call. So that was helpful. I know, that's what I did. I was like, okay, what does Debbie always have to say?
That's what I did.
So, and you have to keep reading Matthew about the basics.
Yeah, the basics.
Let's get going to this for almost 3 of the 4 words, right? There's a reason for that.
And you know, going back to the banquet, leaning to cross, and one of us in front of us, we said, cry out in a loud voice. So as we're going to the banquet, they had the written invitation,
right?
And then they went out to the street corners, and they go, come to me.
Yeah, no.
That they cried out in a loud voice.
That's
that
awesome.
crosses God crying out in a loud voice to the world.
That's it.
So I went, oh yes, I gotta have a word picture.
That's a great word picture because it's not, I didn't hear. Oh yes, you heard. Okay, you heard creation is screaming at you that there is a creator. You teach? Ah, that's a good Susan version. I love Susan. Some of those I just, you memorize in the King James and they just don't come right in any other version. Okay? I looked at Zodiotes and it says that Hetoi, I guess is the noun of them, Heleo, are those invited to the gospel feast with the exotoi, now that's the election, okay, are the more elect company who had heard and that's it. That's a big difference. And the epistles, the called are frequently synonymous with the chosen. So the choosing is included in the prophets. Okay? Okay, go back to your childhood when your dad went out on the street to call you in from playing with your friends or whatever, and it's time for dinner. What would you do? Ran, yeah. My dad just whistled. You knew my dad's whistle? It was long and loud, and you're supposed to be outside playing, so you should be able to hear it.
It was my mom.
Okay? If you're not outside, then you're just supposed to be where you are. So you shouldn't have my whistle because you're supposed to be outside playing with your friends, and that's what you're supposed to do. We didn't go, oh, yeah, Dad's calling, I gotta leave in like 5 minutes. No. No. If Dad's out there whistling, it's time for dinner. He's hungry and he needs to have dinner. It's time to home now. Okay?
How do you mean when my name was like around this for 6 weeks?
See?
At Christmas I got a watch, so I had to I'm 9 years old, so I was out there a watch.
See how we don't forget that? Go back to when you were called by Christ. You were called for salvation. What was that like? Was it unmistakable?
My heart was just beating out of my chest. I can remember that so much.
And you knew it. Yeah. So how can somebody tell you, well, you can't know that it's
Push your hand, push your habit of life. Don't let you get that term. Your habit of life changed so dramatically over the years. Like you said, it's not going to happen. Things happen immediately. There's the Holy Spirit coming in. But He works on us day by day by day by day. And you look back at your life and you say, back then I did that. And you do it. What about those that were thinking they were 7, 8 years old? I was thinking when I was 30, so I can only go from my experience.
That's it. You can only go from your experience. I've shared before that I thought when I was in Young Floridian singing and fellowship singers, the time for, oh, you're up to just share your testimony. I don't have one. Well, you don't have one. Well, I wasn't a drunk or drugged or related to my parents or my husband got really close. Oh my gosh, I had to be 30 years old to realize my testimony is that I came to Christ as an early, young believer that can walk in that newness of life. I don't have that baggage to carry along, the scars in my body, except I did, but now I wish I had it done. That is my testimony. Okay? What, did I stay, to answer your question, did I stay that baby? I can't stay that baby, right? I can't.
God predestined me.
That's exactly right.
To be saved at 30. He moved me off of Long Island up to Vermont where he could get my attention.
Right.
And he got it. And what things I went through in my younger years were not that horrendous. But they were enough for me to know the difference.
That's it. That's it.
Now we're built again. Go back to Romans 8. You know.
We no longer feel.
I mean, when you're saved at an early age, have a conversation with your car because when you just the Lord. And, he's the teacher of the children, and so he's telling me all the time, you have to have things into your heart. That's how you get to heaven. And so he was talking about Michael Jackson, they learned about him and pulling the whole world's life. And he said, and he said, I'll be in heaven. I said, no, you won't. And he looked at me and he said, well, and I said, have you ever asked me to what you know about how he is life? And so he was grasping that, he understood that. That, okay, yes, you're right. That's how we know. And if somebody tells me at a young age, I'm a Christian, I can look at them and wonder, and do look at me, we're having this conversation at an early age. Surely you cannot grasp everything, but grasping the small knowledge step by step, and it's so fun.
That's what you do.
It is so fun.
Little bit by little bit. And that's how we grew up, isn't it? We didn't grow up running. We had to learn, right? To fall. And you had to stand up, right? Just to get your balance without somebody holding on to you. All right. Romans 1:1. Paul was called an apostle. Right?
What's the definition of an apostle?
Well,
What?
they want to see the difference between an apostle is one who saw God and was called directly by Christ, which applies to Paul. Okay? Because he was called on the road to Damascus and he saw Christ. Really?
Hebrews 3.
Hebrews 3.
Because he was called by God. I have to look at the
That's a rabbit. I can't chase that rabbit right this minute. That's a good question, though. Bigger purpose. Okay. Romans 1:6 says Paul includes the Gentiles in the call, but it took him 5 verses to do that. Why? He had to explain how because he's talking to his people, and he is a Jew, right? And if he says the gospel is for the Gentiles, what's Jews going to do? Whoa! Blasphemy, right? Can't be. It's only for us because we are the chosen.
But that is not true.
Not.
Even from the beginning.
Even from the beginning, it's not true. That's exactly right. That's it. Yeah, and then that robs other people of actually accepting Christ because they're not doing it. Beloved of God is called a sinner. So when I visited this church in Savannah to see all this gorgeous artwork and stuff, and I said, well, which of the St. how far did the Saints go? Well, she told me the last name. That's the last thing for it. I don't know.
Oh. Did you set it straight?
No way. I'm in her church. She has allowed us to come in as tourists, see the artwork, which is what I'm there for. I'm not going to argue with her on stuff. But I'm like, oh, honey, you're looking at wrong things. I don't think that would have been received quite well. Well, what can I say? So now they've added, right? I don't know. Romans 8, then, those who love God, who are called the called, right? The elect, that would be us, are justified and called according to his purpose, right? What do we know the ultimate purpose is? To serve him, to become conformed to the image of his Son. And to obey, but you see why that does not apply to unbelievers. Their calling is not to become conformed to the image of God's Son. They're not on the same page, so we can't talk on the same page. We can share the gospel, okay? We can share how we go through tribulations and trials, and we persevere through them and we come out stronger, more intimate with our God, okay? To them, trial is a trial is a trial, and they've got to get through out of our place so they get through it, okay? There's no purpose in it, we just want to get through it. Which is not how you go through it. Is it?
The hardest thing for me is to leave what is possibly some of my family and my kids.
Isn't that awful? Just a thought.
And that is the hardest part. And when I have to say, just in, your devil just works its way and does things to you, and then you say, God is good. He can do what he wants to do. He's perfect. Oh no, he doesn't. So whatever he decides, he's done. It's so wild to get to that point, though, to know that, you bring your kids to church, they preach the gospel, so on and so forth, and then their habit of life is not consistent with that kind of something where they.
But it's their choice.
Christ is their favorite, their habit of life.
But it's their choice.
Everything doesn't always go back to the verse that everybody knows. For God so loved the world, and He gave, and my God.
And whosoever believes it. My responsibility to make them believe. They have to make that choice.
And God, and just, like you say, turned over to the Lord, because like we just said in His character, knows character, and knows His justice. Right?
Wait till we read the definition of predestination.
So they wanted to do something about you, fellowship to they call fire insurance.
Yes.
People think they're going to heaven, and
But,
a lot of
Jody, that's how I got saved. That's how I got saved, because Billy Graham scared the hell out of me, because he was preaching on hell. I thought. I didn't want to go there. And he said Jesus was the only way for me not to go there, so that's what I'm doing. But that's how it started. It has to grow from there. If it only goes there and goes, well, I'm free, who's that the problem?
Some people, it doesn't work. Some people, they are found in the hospital. They walk down that aisle, that they're safe, and brother.
That's right. They anti-union. That's exactly it. Paul dealt with them way back there. Okay? Things haven't changed. But remember, God is the one who comes. Not you. God is the one who does the action. Okay? He's the subject of the verb. He does the action. Okay? Remember that. There's rest in that. And we are called the sons of the living God. Don't you love that? Okay? And God's call is irrevocable. What does that mean? It's done. You ain't changing that. Nobody can touch me, take me out. No, nothing whatsoever can touch me when He says it. Okay?
How about that? Every man
Yes.
I'm not good at that.
No.
Right.
And remember, if He's talking in present, does God have past, present, future? He's talking because He's everything is better out of the Okay? He knows that. All right. Again, the Paul, in 1 Corinthians 1:9, remember that Corinthian church was mostly Gentiles. Okay? They need to be encouraged in their faith. Paul in the fellowship with Christ just means salvation. Okay? If you're having someone over for fellowship, what are you doing? You're getting to know them. You're inviting them to them. Okay? You're fellowshipping, dining. You're becoming intimate. It's hard to find the fellowship with Him. Of course, you can be salvation. Where does it go from there? So the relationship. Difference between religion and relationship. Okay? So you have people with fellowship in the house that they're like, they're going to do my Christian duty. You have a Christian duty. Yes, I know you do. It's just yes, one of them. So, Please say baby no. Just telling you to close. It's hard when you open up the door and you see the words. Okay, it's getting to know more and more, and it gets more and more creepy. What makes it super creepy? Trust through tribulation. That's when that intimacy. That's it. That's it. There's nothing that will make you more frustrated. Why? That's what Jesus went through. Okay? If you're a Christian, you have the gift of comfort. Given to you. Nobody talks about that. But he said, the world hated me. It's going to hate you. If the world hates you and that there's sin in the world, then what are you going to get? Persecution. That's right. Now, do we get people banging on our door and saying, get rid of it? Not yet. Okay, not yet. But do you get that funny look? Okay? Yeah. Oh, really? I love that look. That must mean something I'm doing is making you uncomfortable. That's my job. My job is to show you Christ. Good, right? Truth. You like that darkness, and that darkness shrinks back. They don't want you to reveal that. Great. Now you have to make a decision.
I never thought
this is truth. What are you going to do with it?
I never thought of it before until one of my high school reunions, and this one friend of mine, we had a picture of several of the girls in there. And I don't know who this is. It's weird.
With you? Yeah. Did you ask her what made that girl weird?
I wish I would have thought of that.
Before you said, well, that's weird.
What's so weird?
Because I'm a peculiar people. Okay? Yes. It's awesome. Share the story of Easter with Easter. It's not about you. I didn't get that. I love that. When we read 1 Thessalonians 2:12, okay? Now, we've gone through 1 Thessalonians, so we know we have a little love for that, don't we? Encouraging, comforting, and urging you to live lives worthy of God who calls you into His kingdom and glory. What is living a life worthy of God? Can you be an antinomian like that? No, you can't. Your life has to change because a life worthy of God's calling. God called me to billions of people from human history to now. There's a big responsibility. I have to live a life worthy of His calling. That's not doing whatever I want to do, right? That's living a God called him to kingdom and glory, therefore live a life worthy of that calling. Here we go with the banquet again, right? Matthew 22. Those called. This is so subtle, isn't he? The people that were called and chosen and got the invitation, everything proper was done, correct? Etiquette. They didn't come. They refused to come, and what did they do to the people that came to get them? To say, hey, did you forget? Yes. Perfect word picture if you put it in context, right? Those called were the Jews. And anybody who decided to do anything different than what they thought, they did. They persecuted, ultimately, right? So, their rejection became our salvation. Yes. Okay? So, the invitation went out to any that the saints found. That would be me. Because I'm not Jewish. Okay? So now I get to say, but here's what we call understand it. Go back to Isaiah 53, doesn't it? That would make you go like, He goes to John, it's under the line, it's under the That's family, isn't it? I mean, the good chosen people. And he says, nope, you're not coming away out of that. Nope. This will make me uncomfortable, this will lose my tradition. Okay? No. Expressly, you are actually real people on the Sabbath. Okay? I don't think the layman was fine that it was Sabbath. He was so happy that he was something. I didn't care what day it was.
He was worshiping the
He
Lord.
was worshiping the Lord.
In truth.
Yes. Yes. Okay? As only he could. All right. The believer is to present the invitation. Remember. Oh, that's the God. You're supposed to present the invitation. I'm here to be saved. But don't go away. No. Mm-mm. The Spirit does that for you.
That is a big
From the foundation of the world. There's comforting. Okay?
There's also awe.
There's also awe. So I hope we don't ever forget that. Okay? Alright, foreknowledge. What did you get for a definition of that? Yeah, they just kind of go together, don't they? It's like, how do I separate these four things? Alright? Here's Zodiades again. To perceive or recognize beforehand, note previously, take into account or specially consider beforehand, to grant prior acknowledgement or recognition to someone, to foreknow. Use of God's eternal counsel. It includes all that he has considered and purposed to do prior to human history. You get that? Okay? Use of God's eternal counsel. It includes all that he has considered and purposed to do prior to human history. I don't know about you, but I had to sit back and go, wait, there was history before human. How do you know that? They're interesting. Okay? And if God was before he created the world, then there's history before the world. You got that. Like, the history begins about a me, the state of the world. The history of the world starts there, but history, his stories,
But the not knowing that he knew that we were going to know, writing somebody for that.
yes. Isn't that, again, just incredible that he would do that.
And also with Zodiacs, I like that. His foreknowledge and his ordination in the scripture are always unto salvation, not in his tradition.
Yes, I love that.
Therefore, it should be said that the Lord never foreordained someone to the law. Rather, he foreordained unto salvation.
Yes.
So, he specifically considers the church and encourages his path.
This I typed out because it was just too much to write, and it was so rich. I wonder whether they would be able to know what Zodiac said in here. Just make sure there's a
That was a long one. It was a very long one. Thank you for hoping. That was good.
All right, now let's read this. Okay, there we go. In the language, that's where I'm going to start because I already read the first part. In the language of Scripture, this is so important. We can't take it into our human language. This is in the language of Scripture. Something foreknown is not simply that which God was aware of prior to a certain point. Rather, it is presented as that which God gave prior consent to. That which receives his favorable or special recognition. Hence, this term is reserved for those matters which God favorably, deliberately, and freely chose and ordained, because he is God. and God. Use of events to previously decide or plan to foreknow for God is to foreordain, because there is no beginning and end. Foreknowledge and foreordination are logically coordinate, so they go together. If you foreknew it, you foreordained it. The former emphasizes the exercise of God's wisdom and intelligence, that's just foreknowledge, in regard to his eternal purpose, and the latter, foreordination, emphasizes the exercise of God's will and intelligence. What he has decreed is what he has decided. And that makes me, we can hold back God's hand. That makes me go, that word right there. No one can say to him what he's done. This foreknowledge and foreordination in the scripture are always under salvation, not unto perdition, which is where we try and make it go. Therefore, it should be said that the Lord never foreordained someone to be lost. Rather, he foreordained unto salvation them he specially considered and chose in eternity past. Now, we're not thinking about those words. Eternity and past. I mean, that's the oxymoron, isn't it? Eternity and past. Why can we say eternity past? Because that's what he is. We're in today, right? Present, moment by moment. He doesn't exist. Therefore, we're trying to explain predestination in our finite moment by moment, and it doesn't work. Okay? Any thought of the lost being appointed or ordained under condemnation should be understood as an act of passing over, in which the lost are permitted to suffer the consequences of their choice of sin. What was their choice of sin? Refusal of Christ. Okay? Just like Judas. He refused the truth, though he knew, experienced, walked every day, dying, fellowship with the truth. He rejected it. It is hard to understand, isn't it? But don't you have people in your life that know the truth? They know you're Christian. They like your life, but they don't want it. They don't have peace. They don't want it. Next, yes. The salvation of every believer is known and determined in the mind of God before its realization. Again, we're trying to wrap our mind around this infinity with our finite. Okay? It essentially entails a gracious self-determining on God's part in eternity to extend fellowship with himself to undivided sin. Now that right there should make you bow the knee today. I don't have to understand it. Because you said the righteous will live by not understanding. Okay? That's clear. If we understood it, everything is existed all the time, we would be. Yeah. So who would need it? Not me. Okay? To proceed, describe the justified believers, okay, has God rejected this one? Why do we know that?
Because he said that he would always,
Right. Always. So he's made a covenant with them.
Everlasting.
He does not break covenant. And he's the one that initiates. Think about that. Would you go to your family member who you know hates your guts and go, in my will, I'm going to do everything to you? Okay? It's not going to happen. You're his enemy, and he's going up to face and down everything that happens. You get that sorted when I kind of like. It empowers, it encourages, it draws you in. Because people will tell you, that person just loves me to Christ. They would not get angry with me. They would not do this. This is that. I've never experienced anything like that. People are always condemning me. They don't believe me or they don't have faith in me, and there's good reason for that. It's just person. It's steadfast person. Okay? Nothing to do with it. That'll get us. But nothing else will. That's a practice. Okay? Let's explain this one. Acts 2:23. Let's go back and read that one, because that was really hard for me to stomach. Okay? Paul is talking, remember, or Peter is talking, explaining Pentecost. This man Jesus was handed over to you by God's set purpose and foreknowledge, and you, with the help of wicked men, put death by nailing him to the cross. So does that mean God uses wicked men to fulfill his purpose? Right, that we study. Okay? And the wars in the Old Testament is terrible. I'm thinking of Pharaoh with all the 10 plagues and his suffering and his dying and the firstborn children. Evil, evil, evil. The ultimate evil was his chosen people putting the Son of God who came for them to death. Okay? But he gave them the chance. But he knew, before he even created the world, that was going to happen. Okay? If you read it further, he knew it quicker. They're going to do to his chosen people what he did. They were actually there. And that's hard to believe. That's hard to get your mind on. The chosen is here.
More knowledge.
You want to take over?
Killer in the show. We're having to send out about 1,000 letters for the one project, the 1 year anniversary. And we've done most of the work, but we have to mail them today. So after this class, if some of you wouldn't mind helping put on labels for about a half hour, just checking the spelling, there's just like that for kids somewhere. You have to get the wrong person.
Oh, God for you that we were in here. You forget stuff. I thought he was coming in to take over. He didn't rescue me. I have to take that away now. Oh, that's so funny.
This, when you're truly fall into the trust of it.
Yes. Fall into the trust of it. That's a great way to put it.
In the time that we're living in, we're thinking ahead of our children, our grandchildren, it can erase the fear and bring hope and strength and knowing, to me, one of my overwhelming calling is to share the word with my kids and my grandchildren. To be right where I'm at right now, I mean, I try not to let any conversation go by without saying, well, what does the word say? Or I read this morning, or so I have to be in that to do that. But so to me, yes, it's scary, but it's so fine because I fall into the trust of knowing, yes, they are going to suffer. Yes, it's going to be awful. But Lord, you have provided the comfort. You have provided solutions in their future situations, which I want you to receive through your word. So that's my thought.
That's your responsibility.
And your responsibility.
Yes, yeah, it's our responsibility. Every single situation, whatever you say.
Did y'all notice the title of your course? You might want to look on the front page. You read the title. Sovereignty of God and the free will of man. Okay? It's like, that doesn't go together. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay? You can't say God predestines people to have. Does he? No. No. But that's where we get wrapped up in because we try and use it in a word term instead of a scriptural term. We try and use scriptural language as we speak, which is a good thing, but when you're trying to explain predestination, called, chosen, elect, foreknowledge, people go right to a tarot card reader or a card reader. That's where they really go. This thing is a thought. That's not even on the card. It's just does not even fit. That's how we try to explain it. Remember, it's in context of God. He also does his plan. He's the one that speaks God. He's the one that has no history. Okay? We have human history, but he was before that. And he will be constant. Okay? That doesn't compete either. That's why the righteous live by faith. Okay, we got, oh yes, I love First Peter. One thing. He was chosen before the creation of the world. But, what? Yes, which goes back to Hebrews, doesn't it? Okay, he has spoken to the prophets. These last times. Okay? He's revealed in these last times that what? He's going to let it out. Okay? He let his son go through all that suffering. He allowed Adam and Eve to be in a perfect world. How long were they there? I don't know. But I know they didn't stay there. They were not a product of their environment. They still sinned. Okay? That is not a politically correct thing to say, but I don't care. It's the truth. You are not a product of your environment. God gave you a mind. Okay? We have the choice, always, to either accept him or reject him. Syndrome. Syndrome. You got to be quick to be with you. Go back to 1 Peter 1:1-2. God chose according to his foreknowledge. Wow. That's just even hard to get your mind around as well. Isn't that wonderful? When we put on flesh, we can see the resemblance of us to him. That's why he put on flesh. Do we need that? Does he know that we need that? Okay? Does he know? God chose Christ in flesh so that he can be accepted. Because we're made in his image. Okay? Have you ever had God do something for you that was so good of you that you could say a little thing, but it really, really mattered? And he did it. It's amazing, isn't it? Because when he does those really good things for you, that's the video of the dot on the golf ball. Right? That's just, wow, would he care about you, the little dot on the golf ball? Especially that stupid little thing that I put so important on. What is the difference? I don't know of any other religion. And it's based on love. It's based on love too. I would say. Okay. Right. It is a thing to do. That's important to you. Yes. Yes. And you know, people are so vain. But, you know, again, and I'll share, when I was paralyzed, I could only wear flat shoes. Flat, because if I was on here, I'd follow it. And I'm sure. And it was a big thing for me to be able to wear heels. God, I'm so glad to be back walking, and I can find city costumes. I can. Really, 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 really important. I really like that, but I'm okay if you go. I really am okay if you don't, but I and he did. But he didn't have to. He doesn't have to do that. He didn't have to allow you to walk again, you know? Plenty of people in this area to get on just fine. Again, that's better. So wait for me. Oh my God, she's killed me. She's going to kill her. The devil is not honey, I know this is because of this kid, but it's not important to this one. I wouldn't do that to this one, but I would for this one. I wouldn't talk to this one and this one because they're not there. But that's fine. He's our ultimate example of it. He's really powerful. Of course, if you know that he's trying to do a little bit. That's it. No matter how bad it hurts. No. Your views, my views, your you are. It's not a good one. Oh, woohoo! Yes, yes. Doctor always is there. No, but listen, she wasn't there last night. I've been on the sidewalk going, shit, I'm going to dinner. When I got more, guess what? The guy in front of me said, yes, I'll see you on the next person. Oh, wow. Isn't that just awesome, guys? His sweet little hand. That is what makes me real proud. Okay? It's not world peace. It's just not. It's those little bitty things. It's those things that I know you need this. I think that would make me smile. Okay? But recognizing him. Don't you think he gets joy out of you recognizing that was from him? Instead of going, oh, well, that was cool. Yeah, who made it cool? Okay? God did, he takes away. Nobody can hold back this much. What is left? As a believer, as a child, as a left, I don't want to. Okay? Because his sweetness overwhelms my life. There are trials, there are tribulations. Yes. Sometimes you think they will never end. But again, that's in his sovereignty. What else to know? His character and his attributes is in his property. What do you think about the trials and tribulations? It's like the part of holy. That's it. That's it. Loving kindness, perseverance, and his gentleness is meekness. That's all things. To live like that is so much better than to live like the world and all whom I knew. Man, if you don't get this, it's not going to happen. And if you don't take care of yourself, it's going to happen in old age. Because you pick up and take care of yourself, you got this and this. Right? Oh my gosh, that's a well, that's not what I had. It all supposed to happen just like this, and it didn't happen. Well, what did you say to yourself? It was not that time. But I don't like it. It works perfectly with my schedule. Yeah, the schedule you know of right now. Okay? The blessed schedule. Yes. Amen to that. Okay, we get to predestination. Woohoo! This is when Chuck should have walked in. Can you believe that? Shallow water. We're learning to swim. Okay, we're treading water. That's what we're doing. Okay, again, I came in to Baby Audie. To determine, to mark out beforehand. Why do you think we're camping at Romans 8:28 and 30? This is like a place in the middle of Romans where now we can go on. He's brought us all the way to here. Now let's make sure we understand all that stuff that was before. Okay, we've got it. We understand it. Let's deal with these words. And now let's move on. Okay? We have all those words in that. But let me just kind of walk over that and we quote it. So God makes everything work out together for good. That's what we thought. Yes, He does. Take it in its entirety. Okay? Okay? All right. To determine to mark out beforehand. Before what? Mark out. Before time began. Who's the creator of time? Yes. Okay? But the time is for us. It's not for him. He doesn't operate in time. He's timeless. He has no beginning and no end. I think he uses that word for our benefit. Not because he needs it. Alright? The called foreknown. Yes.
I read these teachings and that is so good as pregnant actions answer. The top one day I was up in this like
1,000 years one day.
yeah, it's like when he give up, when he comes to the answer, he needs to and he starts to come on something and he give up. It's like God takes things in the same mold. Like if the why is he doing it? Why is he doing it? Like you have to remember that God is trying to do it.
Hallelujah. And again, in the video, she's going to put a timeline and put an X. And that X is where we live. That's our day. This moment, this point in time. But God didn't have that X. Yeah. It's one big circle thing that never ends, that never started. That's how He exists. Alright? I think when we get to heaven, we're going to go, I thought I got it. I didn't get it. You know, and here I am trying to hang on to stay here. That was and saying no to this. Right? Then we live here. And we can't comprehend eternity. We can't, because that does not exist. We don't have anything to compare it to.
So whatever's working in my life, something's not working out. We have to take from the next year. Something happens there and something happens here and all work together.
To fulfill His purpose, isn't it?
Yeah, my brain, if I keep telling myself, okay, because it's not just me.
Yeah. It is all of it that works together. Okay? We are part of all of it. Okay? All right. God's predestined. Let's go to Ephesians. That was also in our homework. Because I can tell people confidently that's God's predestined. What are they going to ask? Well, what? Yeah, what makes you so special? I'm not. But I am chosen and I am elect. Well, I'm proud of it. Grateful for it. But now, I have to live according to it. I can't sit there and wallow in my trial because what the process is. Make me grow. I'm supposed to persevere through it, not grumble through it. I'm supposed to persevere through it. And thank God for every trial. James tells us that. Okay? Oh yeah, I get to go through a trial? Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Not my favorite thing. It's that. That's it. Accepting the conspiracy, avoid your name. Okay? We don't do that. Maybe we do that in practice. I do that in practice. Many times. But our life as a habit, going through that trial.
So Sherry was such a good example of this. Because history is a and she's sitting, reading all of those people that are coming in this beautiful gown. She has this really short hair. Her eyelashes are just coming in, and she has no eyebrows. Okay, so compare that to all this other stuff, and everything that was happening. Her smile was gorgeous. And with the black, it was just, that is God, her joy through her in the midst of this stage. Even her plastic surgeon said, That was really beautiful. You're so beautiful.
Oh.
You know, because it always comes to normal things, but.
Yes, but I'm telling you, when you go to chemo, you feel so ugly. You just feel so ugly.
But I mean, you know, so.
You didn't get up to her
He
face.
said. But I mean, you know, and so it's just was such a beautiful word picture of when you're trusting the Lord through the trial, the joy, not the joy that
Exactly.
but you know, I mean, that she was leaning into God for all of that, that because she did it that way, it came out.
It does.
To those who don't even recognize why does she look people.
And truthfully, you can look back at yourself back at that, and go,
Yeah. Why would people say I was good?
and how can I do
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
truthfully and still have joy? Because that just doesn't make sense.
No, no.
So, but it's cool, and I'm sure she will testify to this, that you can still lay in that bed with the chemo, with the whatever, and still have that feeling, even though you horrible.
She had just had chemo that week too.
It's just amazing that you can't explain. You know, it's like, you know, it's like it's not hard, but yet I'm not angry at God. You still have that intimate relationship. That's it, because it can't help, because that's what you go through. That's what comes out. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Ephesians. I love this because Ephesians has a list right in it. It helps explain predestination. Okay? When you get into Ephesians 1, verse 3 through 6, God predestined us how? Oh my goodness, let's take that into context. How about it? Okay? In accordance with His pleasure. So your life and whatever trial tribulation you go through right now, pleases Him. Now that's crazy. That's just crazy. Why can that please Him? He knows the result, because remember, He doesn't exist in that X. He exists. And He knows what's going to happen, and how good it's going to be, and how He's going to work all this stuff together for good. So you don't see that yet. But He knows, oh, it's God. Okay?
He wants to say something.
Right.
Next year, you're going to have to determine if you're going to look at
I can figure out.
I can do this now.
I can do this. Exactly. Okay? God, I want to say miraculously. That's how He was it. You know, how He done it. Daniel has a friend, Esther Holt. Saturday, he wanted to go to that friend's house, you know, with the morning. I told him, oh no, I'm not taking any more video. Oh, I'm not taking any more. I'm not taking any. He said, comes out more now. I go, if you go along, I'll take you. So he never was. And I took hands. He goes, you know, that's a mom thing. I go, okay. So I go to this lady's house, walked in off. I want to talk to this lady, right? And then I got my foot off. And I don't know, and my last name is Sean. Oh, then Dad finally helped with his name for a long time. Oh,
Last name is Lost today.
what?
That's Amy.
So, I talked to this lady, and she's just begun food for breakfast. Triple negative. She has just begun, and she said, she was talking to me about triple, and she said, oh yeah, Jimmy, you know, she was talking to me. I shared my story with her, and you really can't hear it. Yeah, I have. But that was 2008, this is 2012, and just do the next thing. Just do the next thing. I don't know what the next thing is, I just do the next thing. And she has lost her hair yet, but she's had to cut off her hair. Oh, by now she's cut off her hair. Told her, you know, that was kind of hated. Hated that person. I said, did you get your wig? Oh, yes, I was even cut off my wig. I said, you know, I just like to do it. Like a smooth cancer. I got on fall and now, oh, that's a lot of people. Put that bandana on and they go, or anything on they go. You have nothing. I can't do that. Why? You're getting a friend with this boy who's not going to go to his mom. And me sitting down on the floor talking with her about my feelings. She's got to with it. Oh, you did money. Okay, well, I go back to Ron. I go, you know what? I needed to take him. All right. Okay, this is the conversation. You know, now, why is it not? Yes, got in there. Oh, yes. He works all things will I go back and do that again? I don't want to do that again. But if God makes that the next thing, I guess that's what I do. Right? Because that would be the next thing, because I know why he knows. He owns himself. He sees it all. Okay? I can't talk with this woman and empathize with her as well as sympathize unless I do opposite. Okay? That is what your sovereignty, his predestined will for my life. Okay? And that's how we have to think of it. That's how we have to think of our life. That this is what God has ordained in this time for me to walk in. Oh, encouragement. Yes, yes. And they'll say, she's not the other end. I'm saying, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I can do it. Other people have done it. I'm a person. I can do this. You can use that. Yes. That's it. That's it. And you know now what her going to be responsible for it. Same thing. Okay? Nobody calls that the responsibility of the spirit. I know we just thought it. It's pretty funny because now he knows what responsibility now to me. Go and minister to other people. Okay? In accordance with his will and grace, if we can keep the destination just in this mindset, how awesome would that be? He does it in love, in accordance with his pleasure, in accordance with his will in grace. Okay? Why do we know it's in grace? Man, it's from freely. Satan can't go up there and tell him, you need to. Well, I have to try to do what I do, and I don't want to. You can tell God what to do. That's his need. Okay? So whatever's happening, God's done it in love, in accordance with his pleasure, in accordance with his will, by his grace, and freely. I do have an NIV or NASB. Does anybody have an NIV? Does it say pleasure? That's where I got it. In verse 5. Yeah. What does King James say? Do you have that too? What else did that Ephesians 1:5?
This was according to his purposes in Ephesians 1:11.
1:11. Okay, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I even love that better.
Yeah,
His kind intention. Wow. Okay? That's how we should be able to describe our discipline to our children. Our kind intention that I do this for you so that when you come out of this discipline, you'll be more Christ-like. Okay? 5. All right, we go to our last word, election, chosen. Good pleasure. Okay, good pleasure. What's the definition of this word? What'd you get? Yes. Okay. Kind of like Paul, isn't it? Because he called you, but he chose you in order to call you. And it's predestination because he had foreknowledge.
One of the definitions, this was not, the definition I got this from was not like a biblical study, but it was in there. I think it's biblical. It said to select for divine mercy or favor the choice by God of individual after salvation.
Oh, is it a dictionary?
Oh, just a
Oh
dictionary.
my goodness! That's awesome.
So,
A practical, to choose or select, this is zodiac. Those who are called out of darkness into his marvelous light. To choose, select, chosen, choice, or election. Selection involves thoughtful and deliberate consideration. Those chosen of God unto salvation, and who therefore enjoy his favor and lead a holy life in communion with him. There is a responsibility in their life. It is the good pleasure of God's will. It is what seems good to God. Not man. It's what seems good to God. Not me. Because it's really not up to man, is it? It's up to God. Now, we can't wrap our mind around that either, because then that means if some are elect and some are not. Right? So that's obviously where we get. What do we know about the not? They have free will too, correct? They hear the call, but what do? Their choice not to respond. Just like the banquet parable. They chose not to respond, but the call goes out to everyone. Now, there should be comfort in that predestination, that foreknowledge, so that everything that happens to me as a believer is not a coincidence. Okay? So let's not try and make this a difficult thing. Let's rejoice in that. Let's rejoice that, oh, God has a plan for me. I'm not just going along, hoping things work out. And there's a reason at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, this is my life that will be. But I hope it's not that will be. Okay? So then it will be all up to you. Right. Right. Okay. We've had a few references. Again, when there's 33, he will not charge you for that. I love that. Jacob and Esau did nothing to deserve the choosing and the calling. It was God's choice. Okay? Wrap your head around that as well. It wasn't because Esau was red and broody and he was the bad man. No. And Jacob was like called the right. That's what he was called. Boy, did that fit him. He deceived his father into giving him a blessing. Jacob, okay? Whose rightful blessing was it? Esau, okay? Right. And the mama helped him too to get all that disguise on and stick. Right. But did God know that was going to happen? He chose Jacob to become Israel, to become the father of the 12 tribes of Israel before man's history ever began. So they didn't really have anything to do with it. Okay, it was God's choice. Now, Romans 11 is going to talk to us about the remnant. Okay? The remnant always refers to Israel, or the people that are chosen. Okay? The remnant that's left is talking about Israel. Okay? There will be some Jews saved. Praise God, there will be. But not a whole lot. It's harder for them. Why do you think that is? Tradition, caught up in the religion rather than, okay, don't we do that? Okay? We call that a legalistic church. I think that legalistic. Totally. And judgmental. They're not doing it the way that the gospel went out, and then we go to Matthew 22. I thought that was interesting. Then we'll try to mislead the elect, and then it says, if that were possible, Oh my God. It's that when the flood has to be left. Well, not for a habit of life. Right, right. So it's not possible as a habit of life. It is possible to get to see how many times you've done that. And you kind of look back at yourself like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I fell for that. I was deceived, but not as a habit of life. Who brought me back to my senses? Who revealed truth of that deception? Okay? Jesus was now ready to let from one end of the heaven to the other. Okay? Remember, do the heavens really exist? It doesn't matter where I am because God is everywhere. So wherever I am, He's going to get me. And I get to go back with Him. There is no space and time with God. There's no limitation. There is here. There's not with Him. I cannot. Okay? Election chosen, Jesus chose the disciples. They didn't choose men. They didn't matter. Okay? But what do we know about what do we know about he was just walking on the road and he was what? He was trying to see it. Or trying to see it in his way. He called them and what they do? They dropped everything. So they were called. But it was their choice. Okay? Never forget, they could have gone, I'm not going with him, I've got fishing to do. They could have. They still have a choice. Okay? Remember our purpose? We're chosen to bear fruit. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness. Oh my gosh, just that list would keep me going for the rest of my life. I'm supposed to put that on. I'm not supposed to be puffed up and put on. That doesn't fit with God's life. Okay? Clothe yourself with. Why would you need to clothe yourself with gentleness and kindness, humility, and patience? Humility. That's it. That's it. It's not, well, I'm never going to share the gospel with that. Well, then they'll never come to Christ. I mean, look at them. Oh, no. That's not your part. So they'll know that's a good way to go by your habit of life, by your speech, okay, by your obedience. Okay? Yes, I'm chosen. No doubt about that. You did choose me. But that can puff you up.
I don't get it.
Right.
I'm doing it right.
Exactly. Who enlightened me? Who enlightened me?
Yeah, and I used to not be enlightened.
That's for some of you, right? When it goes over that whole list of horrible people and what they did, that's for some of you. But, and I was cheap, yes. Okay? This is the end. It's chosen by God. You ever wonder why you don't feel like at home like this? You just fit in. Everybody's like, really? Well, yeah, because we're strangers. We're supposed to be strangers in this world. Scattered? Could we say we're scattered? Yes. We're supposed to be scattered. That's how the world hears. Chosen according to foreknowledge through the Holy Spirit, your obedience. And then we get the sprinkling of His blood. We get to delve into that. Why did He put that in? What do you think about the sprinkling of His blood? I think sacrifice His atoning blood. Good. Okay, because you think of the priest sprinkling the blood over the people, right? Okay? That makes sense. You are receiving the goal of your faith, which is salvation. Think about that. In His foreknowledge, His predestination, His calling, choosing you, what's the goal? Salvation. After salvation, what's the goal? Sanctification, which is the living out of that faith, from faith to faith until we are conformed The image of his son. That's it. Oh, and that was very cool too. God has chosen angels. I forget he lives in that realm. This is the realm he exists in. Along with my realm, he lives here too. He has angels he's chosen. Okay? Why should we make our calling sure? How can you make your calling sure? Yes, so you gotta know what you know. Okay? I know that I am chosen, elected, predestined because God foreknew when He called that I would answer, that now I have a purpose in life, and that purpose is to glorify Him. And when He's done with me, glorifying Him, He's going to take me home. Because I'm done for this end. So what? That's why we're not supposed to be concerned. Okay? That's it. Okay? It's not, we don't get to say who hears the gospel and who isn't. Everybody hears the gospel that God puts in our lives. Yeah, boy, let's make sure we remember that. We didn't do anything, just like Jacob and Esau didn't do anything. Okay? That's right. You want to share? Barbara.
I was at the second call, but the comment that the boundaries of following the public on the call. Now, think about the movement of our lives, the establishing of that following that's boundary. And then I think about Paul and the a whole bunch of it, every time we look at the boundaries, they still say following.
Yes, because no one has something to do with it. That's it. He remains in charge. So we look at our words and come together. Now, it doesn't look like you're in charge. It looks like evil is in charge. Okay? But what he used evil to work is. All right, let's break. I give you about 2, maybe 3 minutes, and I need to start.